News at 9.
Dr. Scott in the house here from the Phil Long dealerships, the wellness director there. Yep. Welcome again. This is our next installment of the 12 Weeks to Wellness program. And today we're talking about meal planning and portion control. Let's start with meal planning. You say make sure you always have food with you.
That's right. Again, you have to have food available to you, readily available, and you have to eat on a scheduled platform. That's the hardest thing about eating and maintaining a weight management issue. So eating on schedule is very important. If you don't have food immediately available to you, you miss a meal, and then you tend to overeat the next time.
And what types of things are we supposed to take? Like, are you talking about going to work or school, making sure you have something with you at all times?
Any place, you know, non-perishable things like fruit, that's pretty easy. Protein bars, you can stick that in your desk drawer. Foods like sandwiches and things like that, you might have to prepare from home and bring with you in a cooler, but you do have to have them. It's difficult to go in and eat fast food or even sit down places on a schedule. It's just too time consuming.
You say don't skip the breakfast, but what I find interesting, what you say is avoid sugary cereals, right?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of sugary cereals, and there's a bunch of them out there. Again, it's a white refined sugar. You've gone 5-9 hours without eating, and so when you eat something like that and you've got the starvation response going on, it does promote to store your body fat, if you will.
Let's talk about portion control. We've got a picture here that you supplied to us to talk about what people can see in terms of size of their foods. What are we talking about here?
Well, Americans like to get value for their meal, and when we go out and eat out, we want big portion sizes, but what you see here is an actual relative assessment of portion sizes. For example, the butter there is the size of a dice, and cheese is the size of a domino. But in reality, who uses that little butter or that little amount of cheese on a lot of things? So when we portion size, we usually have 2 or 3 or 4 portions, considering what we really should have.
Now, you're holding up a plate. There are products, you say, that can actually help us with portioning out our meals, right? Stuff like this. What is this all about?
There's a bunch of it. Yeah, a lot of people don't like to count calories and so on, so let's just keep it simple, you know, the old acronym. And what you have here is a plate. You can pull it out, and it's got compartments, and we've got a Chinese food here underneath, so you can't eat Chinese food.
So there are different like menu things like this that you can just put it in like that?
Right, and we even have a vegetarian plate, so we cover all eating palates. You put the plate back in and you fill the food in the compartment up to the top, and there is your meal.
That sounds really simple.
Pretty simple.
How many calories should people eat, men versus women?
Again, that gets very specific, but general consensus is that women should eat no less than 1,200 a day. If they're physically active, I would say at least 1,500. Men, anywhere from 1,800, and if they're active, at least 2,000. A lot of people say, God, that's an awful lot. But Americans eat differently. We eat weird, if you will, and that's not 2,000 calories isn't out of to get people to be eating.
Excellent words of advice, Dr. Scott. Thanks for coming in this morning. We'll check back in with you next week with some more wellness advice.